welcome to another exciting episode of the newspaper review on Tab TV. My name is Sophie John, and I won't be doing this alone. I'll be joined by the gorgeous Jennifer. Jennifer, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you, super. And you're looking very great
You
today.
too. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll be kickstarting today with This Day newspaper. This day is leading with a story on Emefiele's case. DSS disobeys court order, beats up correctional officers, rearrests Emefiele, suspended CBN governor pleads not guilty, granted 20 million naira bail. You can find the story on page 10. You find all on that. On the cover page of This Day newspaper, we can see a very embarrassing photo of the altercation between the correctional officer and the DSS. That's really a very disheartening photo. We can see the other one trying to rip off the correctional officer's shirt. That was really an embarrassing photo, and it was over all our national papers yesterday. Article to Tribunal: do not encourage violation of our constitution. That's on page 12 of the newspaper. After outsitting them, Tinubu meets Adamu Omisore at State House. You can read that on page 10 of This Day newspaper. Resident doctors commence indefinite strike nationwide. That's on page 8 of This Day newspaper. CBN directs banks to lift restriction on 440 accounts. That story is on page 10 of This Day's newspaper. Moving on, I would like you to share your thoughts on the story on page 10 of This Day newspaper. DSS disobeys court order, beats up correctional officers, rearrests Emefiele.
Wow, this is really wonderful. You know, in our country, Nigeria, we expect the unexpected at every point in time, and that is why we will say that the country which we are into, we can't tell who can fall the victim at any particular time, at any given time. Remember that the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, was arrested June 9th, and look at it, this is July, and he's actually been in the custody after the DSS agreed of the arrest, because initially it was a rumor. Before you know it, they said, yes, he's in our custody. Along the line, from there, they began having series of judgment, gave him a 2-count, delivered a 2-count case on him that he was found with ammunition and firearms. So before this whole incident came up, he's already been given a bail sum of 20 million naira. And that is when we, together with his lawyers, trying to get the whole thing sorted out there in Ikoyi. That's when the DSS came up again. And I can remember when it was a time of Fani Kayode, it wasn't easy. Anyone who had gone under the custody of the DSS, I beg your pardon, does not come out with a very good story. Though that is because it's not your house. Once you're in this person's custody, expect the unexpected. They will drill you. That's why they're called the Secret Service. You don't joke with them. But right now, the fight that took place yesterday at the Ikoyi Nigerian Correctional Center, it seems like a dent on the image of the president right now. To me, yes, it increased tension in the society, and it also brought lots of confusion. Questions such as, who is in charge? Is it the DSS? Is it the police? Or is it the court? Who is in charge of pronouncing the last judgment, or who is in charge of sending out issuing out authority, issuing out giving out orders.
Sorry if I might
Yes.
interrupt. The court has already ordered them to release this man.
Yeah, he's supposed to pay. He is supposed to meet up with a bail sum of 20 million naira. Do you get? They've given him the shot. They've given him the details. They've said, this is what we need. You get your shorty, 20 million naira bail. You know how it works. Then your passport, you're not going. Emefiele is not a small. His image is very high. He can decide to go back to the house while the case is still ongoing and decide to travel out. So that's why they've requested that he drops his passport. But the DSS barging in now raises the question from the citizens, persons like me, persons like you, who ask the question, who is in charge? Who is dishing out orders? Where did they get the order from? A person that is already in the custody of the police. There at Ikoyi, you barged in, you began to fight. So we don't know what we're actually expecting from the DSM, from the court right now. We don't know what we're expecting from the justice system. We don't know what we expect again as Nigerians. That's what I'm saying. It's actually a dent on the image of Mr. President Tinubu. So that's what we need to hear from him, because he actually was the one that said, okay, I'm the one that said the famous ex-CBN governor should be arrested. And now the case is ongoing and the DSS came to fight. What if a life was lost? What if it was a gun duel? We saw the man that was being mishandled. You saw
image.
One of the image is very disheartening and it's
very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. I love the word
nation.
you just used.
That image, just
yes.
take a look at this. A picture of the DSS trying to rip off this other man's clothes. He has already ripped it off.
So the question is, on whose orders is the DSS working on? Is it the federal government? Then on whose orders is the court working on? Let us know, so that this kind of issue, this kind of situation will not come up again. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that wonderful contribution. We'll be moving on to our next paper of interest. We'll be looking at the Daily Independent. The Daily Independent is leading with the story, lawyers criticize DSS rearrest of Emefiele despite court order. You can find that on page 29 of the newspaper. Tinubu to send ministerial list to the Senate before Friday. That's on page 7. Teachers square up with Benue government over 27.5% allowance demotion. That's on page 7 of the newspaper. Looting claims, Oshimole apologizes to senators, insists officers were vandalized. That's on page 6 of the Daily Independent. Still on the Daily Independent, alleged 1.35 billion naira fraud. Appeal court frees Sule Lamido, sons and others. You can find that on page 7. We are not unifying foreign exchange rates. That's according to the CBN, the Central Bank of Nigeria. They are not unifying foreign exchange rates. You can read that on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Embattled Adamu Omisore meets Tinubu amid APC leadership crisis. That's on page 7, and that's all we'll be taking on the Daily Independent. I would like you to share your thoughts on this story on page 7. We are not, rather on page 29, rather, we are not unifying foreign exchange rates. You know, a lot has been going on in our foreign exchange market. A lot.
Yeah.
The dollar rates.
Yes. In fact, the rates at which the naira is actually going high these days, one cannot tell what will happen the next day. Who can predict what will happen the next day? And I think this particular statement is coming from the acting CBN governor right now, Fola Shodu. He's the one speaking with ain't unifying the exchange rate. So I don't know what is happening. Actually, in the market right now is an open window. Yeah, so many things.
Black markets.
The black market is selling at for God knows how much. Right now, you want to make some kind of, you want to carry out some businesses online. You will see 850 on this particular page. You see 900. Trying to use this other handle, you will see 950. For how long? For how long? We know very well that when a particular government comes in, that monetary policies can either contribute negatively or positively to the economy of a country. But we are also looking at it that the acting CBN president has spoken that why they are not actually going to unify this whole foreign
Exchange
exchange
rate.
rate is that they want to curb inflation. And I'll be very happy. Yes, no one in this Nigeria that won't be happy if inflation at least runs from the 22.79% that it is as I'm speaking with you and goes down to, even if it's the least of 17%, you'll be happy.
Of course.
Talking about inflation, we have inflation in the cost of foods, we have the inflation in agriculture, we have inflation in transportation, basically all around. So if it is left this way, that means it's favoring the government, because in some instance when it is actually unified, it can only favor investors, entrepreneurs, and importers. But right now, we're seeing it that why the government has gone to this to this um, um, has gone to this extent is that, I'm quoting them, this is going to curb inflation. Removing the subsidy on so many things is going to curb inflation. So we're actually expecting that. We're actually expecting that. We are not crying. Before, we had the $1 to naira, 100 naira. Before you know it, the former CBN governor had it at 435 market price. The banks, they do with that. But right now, what are we seeing? Today, 735 naira, 750 naira,
850.
850. We are still not crying so far as it is going to come up with an achievement. So far as at the end of the day, the advantage of these monetary policies will be higher than the disadvantage. That's what we're asking for. Let the advantage be higher than the disadvantage. Since there's an open window, before now, things are the way you import a particular good is how you sell. Yes, you can import it at a time that a naira to dollar, maybe you bought in dollar USSD, maybe naira to dollar is about 400 or 500. You will still sell that way. But buying it at 800, you will sell higher. And this same foreign exchange rate issue had made investors not to actually bring their businesses into the country because they can't tell what the price of naira to other currencies will be tomorrow. No one can ascertain. It can just get to tomorrow, it will fall. It can get to tomorrow, it will rise, because there's no unified rate. But since the number one man has spoken CBN and said this is just to curb inflation, this is to do this and do this, so we hope that the advantage becomes better, becomes more than the disadvantage.
Thank you for your contribution. We'll go on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at our last newspaper for today. Stay tuned.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. This is still the newspaper review on Tab TV. I am Sophia Jan. We'll be looking at our last newspaper for today, the Daily Trust newspaper. Emefiele rearrested over terrorism as CSO's lawyers slain DSS. Secret police prison officers fight over custody. It is a sad day, clash unfortunate. SCBN governor granted 20 million naira bail. You can find this story on page 4 of the Daily Trust. Petrol price hike, no plan to reduce work days. That's according to the federal government. You can find that story on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. CBN increases interest rates to 18.75%, highest in 22 years. That's on page 19 of the newspaper. Page 10, Tinubu meets APC chair Adamu secretary. 48 hours to deadline, Tinubu yet to send ministerial list to the Senate. List will reach us within 2 days, says the Senate leader. We'll beat the deadline. That's according to the presidency. You can find the rest of the story on page 10. That's all we'll be taking on the Daily Trust. I'd like you to share your story on this, your thoughts rather, on this story on page 10. 48 hours to deadline, Tinubu yet to send ministerial list to the Senate.
I think I feel highly exasperated here because it's long awaited. It's long awaited since the inauguration of the president. That was on May 29th. And officially, he's supposed to bring this up. The list is supposed to come up between 60 days of his stay in office from the day of inauguration. But with what we are seeing, the tension is high. Nigerians are expecting this is because he's not going to work alone. Yeah, the president is not to work alone. He is not to work alone. If he works alone, the load will be too much on him and he will not breathe. He cannot breathe. He's going to suffocate. That's why he needs ministers. That's why he needs people that will work with him to give us the renewed hope that he's promised us. If he works alone, he's going to suffocate. So, having seen this story that is coming up and the next 48 hours that we're giving him Thursday to Friday, we'll see the list and we'll know the persons that are going to work in this our country. And this time around, I believe the music will change. It's no longer collect the money, put it in your pocket. This time around is show full workings, board mass. This time around, looking at the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are very sure that he is taking his time to make selection, to pick out those that will work with him effectively, to see that his agenda, to see that he gives Nigerians back the hope. He gives us the renewed hope back. So we're expecting that. We're keeping our fingers crossed. In fact, that's why I said I'm very happy. I'm highly elated.
Thank you very much for that contribution.
You're welcome.
This is where we draw our curtains for today. Thank you for staying with us on the show. Thank you for joining us. You can also be a part of this show. You can send your comment on the comment section. Follow us on all platforms. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram. Meet us same time, same station tomorrow. Thank you.